Yeah, I saw it. I just retweeted it. Should I delete it? Okay, retweet that one. Let me go back to my profile real quick and delete the second one. Hopefully it's all, whatever one it is. I don't know. That's it. Time's up. Um, yeah, why don't you start us out, Michael? Hey, everybody. So, quick somber beginning to the day. This morning, we found out that Kobe Bryant, as well as his daughter, as well as I think 7 other passengers in a helicopter, died in a crash this morning. So, quick moment of silence to start the show. Certainly mourning the loss of one of the world's best basketball players, as well as friends and family members of plenty of other people. So, sad times. Just a good reminder of what are the things that are really important in our lives, and that security happens to be a myth. There is no such thing, right? Another day is not guaranteed for anybody. So take a moment to hug your loved ones and be thankful for the time that you have with them. So, yeah, yep. With that in mind, we'll go ahead and jump into the episode. We've got a lot of good stuff for us today. We've got 3 different releases that have come out, as well as a new package that Taylor is preparing for all of us. We've got some news and blog announcements, as well as about 7 or 8 packages as well. So a lot of activity going on in the community, and stoked to be able to share them with you today. So we're going to go ahead and start out with Laravel 6.10. Let's go ahead and we'll go through all the releases. And I'll start with this one. I think which one is it? 11, 6.11. No, you'll do for 6.12 for sure, because they have that new factory stuff they want to talk about. So I'll jump in with 6.10 here. So the Laravel 6.10 was released on January 8th. So there's a couple things here. Laravel Mix test helpers were contributed by Jason Recurry. So the Mix class, Laravel Mix, apparently used to be a little bit difficult to be able to disable in testing. Now, to be real honest, I went and looked at the PR, and I'm not exactly sure when you'd be testing this or how you'd be testing that. If this is something you've had to do before, though, you may find it was difficult to swap out of the container. So there's now a without mix and with mixed test helpers, which are similar to enabling or disabling exception handling. So you might want to check that out. There is also a new validate with bag request macro. So what you can do is when you're doing your validations on a request, typically what's going to happen is all of those request errors that come back are just going to come back in the default bag, the default error bag. So in your Blade template in the front end, you could say if errors, and then that will tell you if there are any session errors, any error bag errors. But you can also have a bag that's associated with that. One interesting use case for this would be like if you had multiple forms on a page and you wanted to be able to validate those multiple forms separately, what you could do is you could assign an error bag for each one of those sections of forms. And so now what you have is this new method called validate with bag, where the first argument is the name of the bag that you want to put all the errors that come back into. So if that's something that sounds interesting to you, it's certainly useful. I actually just was thinking about using this today. I would have to update the application I was hoping to use it on, though. So I went around a different way, but this is definitely interesting, and it's now supported in the documentation as well. So all the validation documentation is updated to show how you can use that as well. So check that out. Graham Campbell, who is a long-time contributor to the Laravel framework, added PHP Unit 9 support in version 6.x. So the reason why we're doing this is because Laravel 6 is a long-term support release, and it's likely we want to continue to support newer versions of PHP. And it's likely that those versions of PHP, like 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, will need something like PHP Unit 9. So we're just going to go ahead and start pushing that in for Laravel 6. So that's something to be on the lookout for. We also have the Redis connection, which has been made macroable by Matt Allen. Thanks for that. If you don't know what making something macroable in Laravel is, this is something we've talked about many times on the show. It basically allows you to add your own methods onto this class and be able to call them through the facade or however you might be doing it, resolving it out of the container, whatever. But it kind of gives you this native feeling method call that you can just add on with this macro ability. There's a couple other items that were not in the main blog post that I thought were interesting. There's a new exclude if and exclude unless validation rules. There is one other item. What was it? The calls commands feature, which is part of the Illuminate console command, was actually extracted. And so now what you can do is you can actually use Symfony console commands as well, I believe. Check out the pull requests for that. That's 31026. You can, of course, check out all the rest of that in the show notes. One more thing. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was when you pass too many arguments in a blade slot, there was this possibility that if you did so, you'd get this really cryptic error that said you were overflowing some sort of buffer or something. And so instead of that error being thrown like that, I don't remember exactly who wrote the pull request, but essentially it will now throw a Laravel exception instead and let you know that you're passing too many things through as slots. I believe the limit is now 2, so you can only pass like 2 arguments through the slots. So yeah, that's there, and that is Laravel 6.10. Michael, you look like you're frozen. I'm not sure if you're still there. I can still hear you. I can't see you, but that's okay. Yeah, no worries. So do you want to take 6.11 and 6.12? 6.11 is a little bit of a smaller one. You want to just knock out the both of those, 6.11 and 6.12? All right. Woot woot.
My recording has just
As long as
ended
as
for
long
the
as
second time.
there you go, your video's back.
We got a different. Oh, there you go. Well, this is not going well at all. 8 minutes in. This new MacBook, I tell you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah, your video is a little bit glitchy, and it's hard to tell if it's. I'm not sure if your audio is stuttery or not either, because it's hard to tell because I can't see you. So.
Yeah. I'm not sure. So I'm having these like odd fluctuations in power from my MacBook, and so it's causing my microphone to connect and disconnect.